And now, recording in front of absolutely nobody in their subterranean recording studio deep in the bowels of the Cigar Club of Indiana, it's time for the Five Stones Podcast.
All right, welcome to the Five Stones Podcast. I am but one of your fantastic hosts today. My name is Raymond Modulin, a.k.a. the Real Estate Monkey, somewhere around in here. It says it, I think, right there, yeah. And with me today, I've got a couple other hosts. Gentlemen, how are you?
Good.
We're good. I am Joe Trester, the Real Estate Advocate.
Good morning. I'm Colin Hedegaard. I am the Great Dane, is what they call me.
I feel like the Brady Bunch in this now all of a sudden.
More like Sesame Street. One of these kids is doing his own thing, which that would probably be me because I'm not in real estate. So I'm Brian.
You're a special guest.
And joining us today, we have a special guest, Mr. Brian Alvey. Brian, how are you today?
Doing great, guys.
All right, cool. So if you heard that in advance, you know that Brian said that he is not a real estate agent. Brian's expertise lies in the area of marketing. That's one of his areas of expertise. That's the one we'll cover today. Let's put it that way. So Brian and I think Colin or Joe were talking with him about coming on being the fourth chair. If you would like to be the fourth chair, you're more than welcome. Put a comment right down below, and our producer will reach out to you, and we can get you in the fourth chair, much just like Mr. Alvey is. Now, gentlemen, I am, as you can see, in the basement of my secluded private resort island, and I have still got my AJ Fernandez regular cigar, as Joe calls me, the cigar monogamist. Gentlemen, what are you guys enjoying? Joe?
CAO from the office.
I have an inexpensive one called a Brioso. I get it to work in the yard, and I'm unfortunately down to yard work cigars right now.
I was going to say, you're not the yard. And Mr. Alvey, what have you got?
Well, today I've got the San Cristobal. It's a Maduro.
Oh, that's a good one.
Lovely.
Is the Maduro the most common brand or the most common style? We have found that, like coffee, people start out, with cream and sugar and move to black coffee.
I talk about the same thing, whether it be coffee, wine, or anything. You kind of start, for lack of a better description, sweet, and you work your way to, drier and more robust and spicier and anything. Nobody starts off drinking, highly peated scotch. They're usually over there sipping on Crown Royal, probably some of that flavored garbage, and then they work their way into what I call whiskey for big boys. And I think it's the same with cigars. Nobody's first cigar was a great cigar. Nobody's first cup of coffee was probably a good cup of coffee, and nobody's first whiskey was ever a good whiskey either.
You say that, but I'm going to tell a story on Colin. Colin and I have managed to bump into each other one day at a cigar store, and he had a buddy with him that had never had a cigar and was willing to try it. So Colin was talking to him about a digger.
You rubbed him out of the game. you rubbed his budget anyway. You kind of got to work along those lines. I would say that
I was trying to kill him.
Earmarked financially to those hobbies kind of grows as well.
Now, if you don't know, a digger is a double Maduro. Colin smokes them frequently, but all of us are in the front of the store going,
yeah.
The guy's
it's the type of cigar that you feel like you have to shave your tongue to talk when you're done smoking it.
Yeah. He's like, okay, if that's the one you suggest. And we're all back there going, Colin's an asshole.
Aren't you supposed to mess with your boys? I don't know. I'm just trying to kill my buddy.
Well, did you bring a barf bucket for him? Because I'm sure his head felt like it was on a string 10 feet above him.
He left after an hour. He left it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think today's topic, we want to talk a little bit about a niche market in marketing. As Brian was saying, that he is not a licensed real estate professional nor mortgage, but his area lies in general marketing of companies. And Brian does have a company that markets for other companies. That's one of the things he specializes in. So today he had brought up a topic I thought was kind of interesting about what marketing should a real estate agent not do.
Well, that's a good one. With my background in marketing and branding and PR, that directly, absolutely relates to what you guys have to do every day. The biggest thing is trying to differentiate yourself, not oversaturating with the same thing over and over. And some of the no-nos that I see on a regular. Let's speak towards social media first and foremost. XYZ individual gets their real estate license and then proceeds to spray and pray their marketing over their personal Facebook page, tagging 99 of their family and friends and sending them all direct messages. Hey, just got my real estate license. Hope you. And you know what? I get 2 of those a week. It's very uncouth marketing. It's a plan to. It's like it's that you're not telling us anything the different. Why should I buy from you other than you just happen to know me?
Question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Would you say that that's probably because that's the only thing they know to do?
Yes, absolutely.
The spray and pray.
Yeah, absolutely. They want to get out there. They want to hustle. They want to do something. They want to have their first sell. I'm sure they've been encouraged and coached to, hey, first and foremost, reach out to those you know. It's easier to, high probability prospect someone you know versus someone you don't know, which is a stone cold call. You want to get your name out there. You want to get it out there as fast as possible. But what you end up doing is you turn away a significant amount of your potential prospects in the future by just at nauseum tagging them in all your posts and everything like that, to where you've really taken yourself off the shelf. They unfollow you. They don't read your messages now because they just think you're soliciting them, and they've had enough. Your best thing is to figure out an organic way of injecting it within your posting, within your, scour social media for people talking amongst your friends through the posts about real estate. Maybe you never know. Somebody may just have posted, hey, we're getting ready to sell our house. Then that's somebody you need to engage with. But just throwing it out there, tagging everybody and their brother that have no interest in currently buying, selling a home, it's a quick way to turn them off to you where they're not receptive to anything you're putting out.
All right, so I want to follow up on that, but actually I want to take a small break get one of our sponsors in here real quick. So we'll be right back.
Hey, Central Indiana. Come visit Greenwood and experience the Cigar Club of Indiana for the ultimate cigar swap and bourbon share on July 26, 2024. Connect with fellow cigar aficionados, share your favorite bourbons, and enjoy an evening of great conversation and camaraderie. Don't miss out on this exclusive event. And while you are there, check into membership. For less than $1 a day, you can be a part of Central Indiana's best-kept secret. Must be 21 years of age to participate.
All right, welcome back. We're talking with Brian Alvey, who's into the marketing of things. And he is telling us what real estate agents should not do. And he was talking literally about the spray and pray technique. And I think that's probably because, like Brian said, that's what they're told to do. That's the only thing they know how to do. But I also heard Brian just say that could also be more detrimental than beneficial because people get tired of seeing it. They unfollow them. They quit reading messages. So that's probably not a good thing to do right out of the gate.
Well, if you're going to really truly harvest your contacts through social media, you need to take the time to go through those contacts, do some high probability prospecting, who you think may be in a position to currently want to buy or sell a home in the real estate whatsoever, and versus those that don't. Take the time, and then don't send the cut and pasted thing that you clearly sent to 1,000 other people. Take the time, send a personal message. Less is more, short and sweet, and then just and less flash and more simply just if you are in the position to purchase a home or looking to possibly sell yours, what could I do to earn your business? Ask the question.
Joe, you're the newest licensed here, while it still has been almost 10 years. Do you remember the first thing you did from? I honestly don't, because I got licensed in a whole area before what's his name created the internet.
Well, I think it was we had a very similar conversation, you and I, about how to market yourself and not to do what Brian is talking about. I think what I did is I marketed my logo and kept it very simple and just kept posting the logo as opposed to saying, "Hi, I'm a real estate agent. Use me, use me, use me, use me. If you're looking to buy or sell, use me. If you're, all of that stuff that no one reads or pays any attention to." But I figured if I got the logo out there and they saw the photo of the logo, at least that would click into their head without me beating them over the head with a bunch of text that they don't want to read anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This crosses boundaries even into your mortgage. Do you remember what your first marketing was? When you came from the banking world, so you kind of already had a list of people.
Yeah, I mean, my pitch in the beginning was that I worked in banks for 18 years and they are terrible at mortgages, and I want to deliver for the professionals in the industry, and that was my pitch. Which it was a little broad, and I think something that I'm struck by is those kind of posts that Brian was mentioning. They're real forgettable, and if I see those, like he said, all the time, I'm not going to remember that person or that video, but I thought I'd give an example of something that was effective recently. A new guy on our team, Joe, posted something about, I'm thinking about buying a house, but I have these student loans. It was real specific to student loans. And he got 4 or 5 calls with people that were sitting on the sideline wanting to figure out a solution for how do I work with student loans and still buy a house in the near future. And that was memorable to the people that had student loans, and 3 or 4 of them called him up within the first day.
That's a good idea.
I think Joe really hit on something there. He created a logo. He branded a logo, and I think that's a great idea. You have to brand yourself, brand your image, make yourself different. Faces just run together, and I see all the real estate promotions out there. They've got their face on the billboard, the face on the yard sign, face on their business card, face in their office window, and that's all fine and good until everybody does it, and it doesn't stand out. It doesn't look different. So when you brand that logo, and in marketing studies will show you that, let's say a billboard on the side of the highway, it literally takes 19 impressions on someone before they make a final buying decision as to whether they are interested in the first place and they will buy from that. It literally, so if you were seeing that billboard on your commute to work every day, like the 9th or 10th time you saw that duck, you finally said, what is the duck for? Oh, Aflac Insurance. That's what that is. It takes a while. So having that repeat logo will definitely help. So very simple brand, simple logo. Put that on everything you do, and then that will help. And it also, once they're used to seeing it on the regular, indirectly it will legitimize you as the subject matter expert. You're the real deal.
You did some marketing for I know some guys that ran for office, some political posts.
Yep.
Can you tell us what in this modern world is, I would say, the most effective, or a couple of the more effective type of things now? Social media, certain ads, certain presence,
platforms.
Yeah, well, social media. Let's just start with social media right now. The best bang for your buck out there, hands down. It absolutely, in just about any industry. Now, I said best bang for your buck, meaning buck is you spent one. So do not shy away from those boosted ads. I mean, you could do a boosted ad, which you can create the algorithm where it's hitting high probability prospect targets that are looking to buy or sell a home. And it's not just hitting everybody else organically through your own postings on your page that nobody cares or to see. When you create those ads and you boost it, you drop $100, $200 on one ad. Tell me you don't make that ad on one house sale.
I think I'm sterile now.
Get a little feedback with our setup here. So it's got to be done right, though. Is that what you're saying? I mean, you're going to get the impressions with the money. You just have to have the attention grabbing.
First thing I'd say, if you don't know how to do this, you better ask somebody that does. Spend a few dollars to embrace somebody in my profession that knows how to create and promote a business through social media. It's not going to cost you that much. And with that said, I mean, if you're in this to win it, that amount you spend on it versus the commissions you make through real estate should be a rounding error. If you're not willing to invest in your business, then I don't know what to tell you. You're going to have to invest more than just time and your sweat equity.
Is there a platform that's better than others?
So that's constantly evolving. Right now, especially specific to your industry, I would say you can't go wrong with Facebook. And the reason being is Facebook increasingly has a larger, an older age demographic. Well, people that get older in age are more high probable prospect of purchasing and selling homes. So versus like the TikTok, which is significantly younger. However, do not negate the TikTok because those folks are going to be buying homes as well. So with Facebook and Instagram being connected, both being owned by Meta, you could get a really solid bang for your buck by linking those. So if I do a boosted ad for one of the organizations that I represent on one, it immediately goes into the other, and you get 2 for 1, basically a double. But TikTok's a really solid one. YouTube, pay for boosted commercial ads. We did a lot with some of these candidates for office, where you see those commercials popping up on Facebooks and Spotify and all the other outlets that are out there that people consume content.
They still fill my mailbox during that campaign period of time. I had flyers every day in my mailbox. I don't know what the
direct mail. Speaking to political office, it's a very necessary evil. I don't think a direct mail piece ever got anybody elected, but the lack thereof sure got somebody unelected. You have to do something. You really do. Each case, each race, each district is going to be different based on a lot of different variables. But and then they get, and especially during election cycle, I mean, you get stacks of those a days, and I'd say 90% of them are going in the trash. And direct mail pieces are not inexpensive; they cost money. So, social media is a great way to step into it. But absolutely direct mail. But I would make sure the piece you're putting out, it needs to have some sort of value. People are going to need to want to pick that up and take a moment and look at it. And that's a quality logo that maybe they've been seeing with regularity on social media. Well, I recognize that logo. What is that? And that may be you're getting further closer to that 19th impression where you make a buying decision.
All right. So what's another glaring item that you might see a new marketer do that's probably not right?
Well, I'm trying to think very specifically in your industry. I've already said just the spraying of social media everywhere and just tagging the same people over and over with repetition. That would be the big thing. You're basically marketing to a very specific captured audience that they've heard you. You need to, and that's why I like the boosted ad. It goes to people you're not connected to. You need to keep growing that. And then I would change that. I would target this area. Then I would target this area. And it has it structured where you could literally market per zip code. You could pick the zip codes. Well, hit this one for a while, then hit this one, and then track your own personal analytics. Where's the best bang of my butt coming? So you just gravitate more and more to that one. That it may be just as simply a geographical area. Just the,
What about pay-per-click? Is that a good idea? We have not had a lot of success.
Well, then you just answered your own question. The no.
With the real estate world.
Well,
the real estate
like I said,
school.
I've not done real estate before with marketing per se. I've worked with some big commercial things, but it was more of it wasn't very specific to actually drifting into sales. It was strictly marketing and branding, not into direct sales where you're trying to connect with an actual customer prospect. If you, with all the years of experience that you have, and the three of you have collectively, have found that doesn't work, well, I tell people all the time in sales, I don't have to call on 100 people to only have 10 be interested to know that it's only going to get a 10% receiver rate. I can call on 10 and get one. Math doesn't lie.
Yeah.
My personal experience, I'm going to share that when I look at what my daughter, my wife, people around me are doing most of the time, they are scrolling through reels and short videos, and they want something to be so easy for them that they just click a button, their credit card's in there automatically. I think the new pay per click is a button on a reel that I'll learn more or sign up today, and it takes you right to checking out, and they can make that impulse buy. Because they have zero patience. If I make them click through 3 or 4 screens, they won't even fill out the application. We found they basically need a link to the application. It opens, they create an account and apply.
Well, on a personal note, like we, with the school, we had tried numerous different ways of getting things out there. And just in the last couple of days, we went to boosted ads on Facebook, and we have had more clicks over to the website from that, off of a grand total of $7 than we got off of $700 somewhere else.
Let me
so
ask
there
you,
is something to that.
Was it one button you clicked and you were redirected off the social media platform to your website, or did there a couple pre-qualifying things on there?
No pre-qualifying, was just a very basic commercial, and there was just a button that says learn more. You click the learn more button that sent them directly to the website.
Okay. Because in some industries, people get irritated when they click on something to look. They want to come into the page, so to speak, and stay on the same platform, and it automatically redirects them, and they just swipe and close and like skip not doing it because they wanted to stay on the platform until they at least had further down the buying process of, I'm really interested. I want to look into this more. So I've found in some industries, driving them directly to the main page of the social media page has been more effective than redirecting them off the platform to the website or web page.
Yeah. Now, the only thing I will say about that is typically the real estate education is a price point that I feel is not really an impulse buy.
Yeah, that's a fair statement.
It's not a $12 T-shirt or a $5 bracelet. It's a $600 investment. So we don't get a lot of the impulse stuff. We actually had a kiosk in one of the malls here, I don't know, probably before COVID, and did not get a lot of action. Got a lot of people interested, nobody buying, because once again, nobody's just randomly going to go, I'll drop $600 today.
You didn't have somebody standing in the aisle pulling people over and putting lotion on their hands to get them to come over to the kiosk?
Yeah.
Maybe that works. I know I run from those guys the rare occasion I'm in the mall.
So what would be, if you had limited dollars, let's say, Brian, you've got $100.
Okay.
Where's the best $100 I can place?
Meta, Facebook, Instagram. Create a 30-second spot of you in a video, very personal, looking like we are right now, and start with your logo. Have some flash in there, have some content, have some embedded script, around your video. People are highly predominant visual. They want to see and hear. They don't want to read. Just tell them, say, hey, real estate tip 101. If you're looking for real estate, do this. To learn more, click here, and I'll be happy to explain it further in depth. Yeah. Something of that nature. It's kind of left with a cliffhanger. It's going to drive. I need to learn more, so they'll click. But something when they're just scrolling through, laying on their back on the couch in the evening or something, hitting those reels and stuff. Something that pops up as a sponsored ad that's catches the eye. You need some music, something that causes them to pause for a minute and start to digest your content.
I think your experience with marketing for politicians would correlate with real estate agents, because you are dropping ads to get them, when the time comes, to remember person.
Yeah.
And the same thing happens in real estate. When the time comes that it's time for me to buy or sell or whatever, I need to remember who it is. And Raymond says this all the time. I need to sell my house. I need to call, Raymond, insert name here.
Yeah.
And I think that correlates right over, because we're trying to make them remember a name for November, whatever day.
At the end of the day, in real estate, when it comes to the dollars and cents, you guys you're going to pay out the same commissions, same fees, everything. So you are buying into an individual. You, as real estate professionals, are selling yourself, your branded image, and the person is going to go to you because they think, they feel, they believe that you will do the best job for them. And but you got to have the opportunity to explain that to them, to convince them of that. So getting them draw in with the flash, and then quickly, hey, I just told you a little bit of what I know. I could tell you so much more. Click this. But yes, very much so, similar to political candidates. You are selling yourself. You're not selling a house. You are selling yourself.
That actually was probably a very knowledgeable nugget, and I want to revisit that to make sure people out there listening heard that. The video doesn't explain everything. It's merely a chance to open the door for a meeting where you explain everything. This
Absolutely.
is, like Brian was saying, a 15-second capture their interest kind of thing.
There's why those timeshare people always bring you in with, hey, for free meal, you just have to hear our pitch and everything. I've never dabbled in that. I don't know how effective that is, but apparently they've been doing it for years. It must be selling timeshares. But yeah, you're exactly right, Raymond. You need to get them interested in hearing what you have to say. First things first. Do not pass go. You need to convince them that you are somebody worth listening to.
What's the attention span of the individual out there now, the consumer? How long should my reel be?
Don't go any more than 30 seconds. 30 seconds, it actually, the way the algorithms work on Instagram and everything, it'll pop up more. It'll just, people, if you ain't got a hook in them in 15 seconds, enough to listen to another 15 seconds to make a decision to click, you're not going to get them. Nobody's watching an entire minute video anymore.
They will move right on and click for the next one. I mean, they can't. There's zero patience right now, which is, I don't know if that's good.
I think that's always been the case, but this is giving us an opportunity to really see it.
I'm sorry, what were you saying? I wasn't paying attention.
That ran over 30.
I think Brian's right.
Podcasts are different.
Our attention span hasn't changed. We now just build a platform to accommodate it.
Absolutely. It's like, hardship in life does not build character; it reveals it. Same scenario.
I know for a fact I have sat in class, teaching a class, watching the student not paying attention, and literally ask them something, just like you're not paying attention now, right, Dave? And and that's a live class with me in front of them.
Yep.
So you have, like Brian said, that's a good way to put it. The first 15 seconds is to get them to watch the last 15 seconds. And that whole thing is to get them to call you. Then you can make the pitch.
I don't know if there's a correlation or anything, but I've done a lot in the restaurant industry, bars and restaurants. And if you get somebody to come into your place for the first time, for however they got there, they just saw it and they walked in, or through a lot of marketing of various different kinds, you have about a 10% chance at getting them to come back for a second time. If they come back a second time, you again now have a 10% chance of, if you don't do anything to hook them to coming back in, about a 10% shot of getting them to come back a third time. If they come back a third time, 90%. 90% they will come back a fourth, a fifth, and a sixth. They are your customer now.
Yeah.
So what is it? You got to incentivize them to come back the second time and the third time. And we're talking, so the first, the second, the third, we're talking 15 seconds, additional 15 seconds to qualify. And then once you get them at the end of that 15 and 15, you get that 30. If you can get them to click on your percentage of retaining them into your sales pipeline and potentially turn them into a customer, went up.
Yeah. Hey, Joe, Brian, if you don't mind, we're going to put your phone number or contact information. I heard you say that you have not ever worked with a real estate agent. Now's your chance. You know, perhaps we can get that. And the other point that Brian made that I have said, Colin has said, Joe has said, as a real estate agent specifically, you are owning a small business. You have got to understand it is a business in and of itself. Even though agents work for a managing broker like me, it is their business. They need to do their marketing. And part of that is like what Brian said. Dude, spend the $50, spend the $100, make the 10,000, and then hire Brian to help you. And even if that happens, you're still going to make more money and you're going to shortcut your way to it. You could learn everything Brian knows, but Brian knows it now, you know. So reach out and get some help from somebody. That's the thing.
I call that trade a cracker for a ham, man.
Well, I would suggest that a lot of what you were talking about with the getting people to come back is exactly what we've been talking about with transactional versus relationship, especially with, in real estate. And contrary to popular belief from the near north side of Indianapolis, what we are dealing in now is transactional. And the reason why it is transactional is how many people are going to buy a house from you the third time.
Right.
Not many. And if they're buying the house the third time from you, it has transitioned to a relationship, and there's a 90% chance they're going to come back again. But I will tell you, you got a 10% chance of getting them the first time, the second time, and then that third time. After that, maybe you can transition, but you're not going to do that with 95% of it. It is a transactional business.
Well,
period. End of discussion.
Having trained many a sales force in the last 25 years, creating sales forces and training and everything, I've had to work with so many different types of sales and people in different, and some of them are very tangible. You know, hey, come here, kick the tires, so to speak. Look at this, hold this thing, look at it, see how it feels. You guys are an incredible intangible sales. You have to sell the image, you have to sell the feeling, you have to sell the idea of what you do. And that's a lot hard because you guys, you are more hunter. I call them hunter salespeople versus farmer salespeople, because you don't get to cultivate the crop of your customers. Because how often does somebody buy a house? When they buy a house from you, you're not going to see them for a few years if you see them within a few decades. But where in other sales, boom, they sell them another one and then another one and another one, whatever that is. Yeah. So you guys are constantly out there hunting for new customers, prospecting new customers, and that's done two ways. First and foremost, the tip of the spear is having your abilities, who you are out there at the tip of the spear, putting it out there constantly through some aggressive marketing, whether it be social media or print or whatever, and then the best you can do on the back end, instead of farming them as a repeat customer, is you need to really work your book of business to farm them for referrals. That's how you grow that herd, so to speak.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, I want to thank you for the time that you've come. Brian, I want to thank you. We'll put your information out there if you want to reach out. And I am sure that Brian can accommodate you in any fashion. And like he said, he's done branding for politicians. He's helped for marketing with restaurants. So he is probably somebody you need to listen to when he talks. What's the old E.F. Hutton? When E.F. Hutton talks, you listen. Danny DeVito had a really good speech in War of the Roses. He said, when a guy gets paid $600 an hour or says something, you probably should listen. Now, I'm not saying he get paid $600, but that was the quote in the movie that thought was funny. War of the Roses. So, gentlemen, I want to thank you. I am going to head out and go swimming in the ocean, I think. I don't know. Maybe.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me on, guys. It's a real honor.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. Appreciate it.
If you want to be in the fourth chair, just like Mr. Alvey, talking about it or yelling at us, hey, we'll take that too. Put your comment or a quote down in the comment. Our producer will reach out to you. Don't forget the subscribe button and the little bell. That helps us get more recognized so we can get better content out to you guys. Until next time, peace out.
Harumph.
Where am I, Jill?